is one of the best opportunities that you could ever have.
Too, I think. Yeah, because they're going to present their slides. Or do you have the slides? Yeah, I don't think I told them to. I think I told them they were going to be able to present off their laptop. Yeah, can that reach all the way over here? Yeah, I think we'll want to have them ready. You can do it over here when it starts. Right. Hey, as you guys are coming in, can you shut those two doors? All right. Well, sorry I wasn't able to make it last week. I got unexpectedly called away. This is very important, so it means a lot. I don't like to don't like to miss class. But I got to go to the AUSA, the Association of the U.S. Army, which is like the booster group for the Army. They're one of their big annual conventions in Huntsville, Alabama. Beautiful place, actually, if you haven't been there. Very, very nice. And got to walk around. It was kind of like, imagine like when I got to walk like Jason Calacanis around the startup crawl, and it was kind of like fun because like, it was my place and Jason's, really popular. It was like I got to do that at this Army thing, walking around with the general, where it's like the general was like me or Jason Calacanis, and like like everybody knew them and like everyone else, and I got to walk around and get introduced to everybody, and it was like kind of like their show. It was really fun. But anyway, glad to be back here and excited about we're coming in on the tail end of the semester here, believe it or not, and so we've got your first graded pitch today. There'll be another graded pitch in a few weeks. We'll put the schedule up here in just a minute. In fact, maybe Isha, you can get the schedule slide up there. And then we've got demo day. There's been a little shifting of the schedule as we looked at the way finals and everything worked out this year and the holidays. And so the demo day, April 28th, is a Monday, right? We can verify? Okay. So we can't do it Tuesday because that's like a study day, I think. Maybe? Sound right? Before finals? So so Monday is the day. And if that's going to cause any kind of issue for anybody, let us know right now so we can try to work around it. But hopefully that's not a big problem. But I'm really excited about that. That'll be downstairs in Voltron, and we'll have the room packed full of people and really get you guys some great exposure for what you're doing. It's always a really lot of fun. And as a reminder, that one's not graded. The goal is to just make you look as good as you can and get you the best exposure that you can in front of as many people. So today, again, is April 1st. It's April 1st. Joke, it's not really today. No, just kidding. Okay, yeah, today is April 1st, and it is the first graded pitch. And next week we'll have 2 more sessions of office hours, and then another graded pitch, and then the final demo day. So what else we got on there? What's up, TJ? So you should have a calendar invite. So if you're just not on there, let us know. And it's a little bit longer. It's around the same time, but it is a little bit longer for total time, of showing up and schmoozing and everything. When's the practice demo day? What am I supposed to be saying here? This is the other graded pitch. Okay, so we had this on the other slide as well. Okay, great, awesome. And what else? All right, great. Okay, so grading. So this is this slide actually. So I think we updated the grading form a little bit. This is mostly right, but not exactly right. And so we'll put up the grading form actually instead, if you don't mind. Can you open that and we'll just look at that. But basically, we try to make grading really simple for everyone. And to be honest, it's designed where you should be able to get a good grade. It's not designed to make it super hard. And so if you, everybody, first of all, everybody, students, mentors, everybody should click that link. And then I see you all doing that. We'll let you do it. And then once you're done, we'll open it up and I'll go over it with you. One more, Isha. So there's a number of different questions, and they're now actually, it used to be scored just 0 to 1. Now they're all scored 0 to 3. So there's 4 possible scores, 0, 1, 2, or 3. So, and the questions are things like told an engaging story. So if you get to told an engaging story, and you're asking, did they tell an engaging story? A 0 would be like, no, there was no story here at all. Like, no story. And then like a 1 would be like, well, they tried to tell a story, but it really wasn't a very good story. And then a 2 would be like, well, actually, like, they told a pretty good story. And then 3 would be like, wow, they nailed it. That was an awesome story. So there's no middle. There's no like average. That's the one thing. You got to pick either it's like better than average or worse than average, like a little bit one or the other, okay? So it's the 4 points total. And then there's an extra credit at the end that says, this is one of the best pitches I saw. You know, this is kind of a trick question, because how do you know if the first one you see is one of the best pitches you saw? I don't know, but it's in there, and it gets you extra credit. So if you think this is going to be one of the best pitches, you check the box, and that's like extra credit. And then there's 2 other forums. One is comments for the team, if you want to say anything to them, and you could, it's a great place to leave constructive feedback, like, hey, you said too much, or you talked too fast, or you really should add a slide about this. And we will assemble all that feedback and share it with them. So it's just an easy way for them to get that in one place. And then the second one is feedback you want to give to Josh and the TAs. That's us, me and Isha. And that's just in case there's anything else you want us to know that we will not share with them. And we'll go through that. Like I said, we'd like everyone to grade, please. This allows, first of all, this, to be honest, this is also part of helping make sure you get a good grade. You'll generally get everyone should grade for real, but I'm just saying, like, generally, lots of grades helps you makes it less determined on like one person, like having like a different opinion. And there's a portion of it, we separated into the grades from the mentors and the grades from your peers as part of your grade. So, again, you should all do that. So when it asks you to grade, it'll say, what's the team, what's your name? It'll say, what's the team who's pitching? It'll ask for the name of who's pitching. It's helpful to us if you put that, although we can probably figure it out. And then it asks you these questions. And are we almost to the questions? Take a picture of that with your phone and then send the link. Yeah.
Does the mentor's feedback and your feedback graded higher than peers' feedback?
There's I believe so a little bit, but there's a little rubric, and it kind of says like, and I think it's in the syllabus, and it says like what % of each person's score gets added together to make your thing. Is everybody able to open up the grading form? Have any questions from looking at it? Dun 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 dun. Intense suspense. And we have the grading form. So again, your name, pick the company, name of the presenter, and then just for each one, clearly describes what they do. No, they did not at all describe what they do. I have no idea what they do. Like, they kind of described what they do, but it wasn't very good. They did a pretty good job. It was awesome. Speaking skills. This is like their ability to present. It's how they spoke. It's how they delivered it. It's, those types of things. Viable business model. This is the part that's like, oh, do I think this would actually work? Like, that's the, the part of it that's like, and have they explained that? Like, have they explained how it works? Clear call to action. Keep going down. And told an engaging story. All right? So, as we do these, Isha will call off the team and then call off the name of the person who will present. As we mentioned before, for today, everyone will present and and the team will share a grade based on the presentation from that one team member. And then, did we ask everybody last week? Because I apologize, I wasn't here and I may not have. Did we ask everybody to record their individual pitches? We did. Okay. Okay. So then so if not, we would have re-asked you. And then everyone's recording their own individual pitch, which also contributes to your grade. So that way, what you do counts as well. And so we'll also send those out for grading in the same kind of way. All right. All right. Yeah, and if you can, for today and when we're pitching in class, you can present off your own laptop. It's easy enough, and we're not worried if something delays a minute. When we pitch on stage, we're going to have everybody send the slides in advance so we can make it all on one deck and have it all ready to go really smooth. Okay? Microphone's up here. If it's green, it's on. You're good to go. Come on, Storm.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name's Henry. Today I'm going to be telling you guys about Call Buddy. All right, so a couple weeks ago, I had to call Southwest, and I kid you not, it took me 2.5 hours. I was trying to reroute a checked bag, and I kept getting stuck with virtual agents, and once I finally got to a human, I got transferred multiple times, which of course meant more terrible elevator music. This is a painful problem for many adults. In fact, Americans spend over 2.5 million hours on hold every single day. This is a huge amount of time that's being wasted, and of course, time is money. The current solutions cater to businesses. They help them automate and save, but for us, they just make things worse. Longer menus, more bots, and fewer humans. In fact, 80% of calls will be handled by an AI within the next 2 to 3 years, which is estimated by Forbes. But we asked, why should companies have all the fun? That's why we're building Call Buddy, the first AI phone agent for consumers. Here's how it works. You interact with Call Buddy like ChatGPT. You give it a task and a phone number, and it'll call for you, talking to the agent or their AI just like you would. Or if you just want to talk to a human, Call Buddy can add you to the call once it reaches an actual person. Before it makes the call, it'll use an agentic search to figure out what information it needs to complete the task. So using the Southwest example, it might ask you for your confirmation number, your flight number, etc. Let's say mid-call it realizes it doesn't have all the information it needs. It will contact you while putting the other agent on hold, essentially giving them a taste of their own medicine. During the call, at any point, you can take over, if you want to take control of the situation, or you can also listen in. You'll also receive a summary and a transcript at the end of the call. So I've been using customer support here as an example, but you can really use Call Buddy for anything. Checking availability, booking appointments, making reservations. It's like a personal assistant in your pocket. If I had Call Buddy when I was having that experience with Southwest, it would have taken me minutes, not hours. So I want to touch on how we're going to make money. We'll have a free plan, basically giving users 30 minutes of free minutes. After that, they can either switch to a paid plan, but they can also refer friends to get additional minutes. So with the paid plans, you'll obviously get more minutes, but you'll also get features like being able to customize the voice assistant, being able to take over the call, live listening, batch calling. So for example, let's say you want to set up a reservation for 20 people for that night. You can have Call Buddy call a bunch of different restaurants, give you a report, and then it'll ask you which one do you want to actually make the reservation with. So these are kind of the C to B use cases, but we also think that there is some opportunity for us in the business space. This is because we've had some companies reach out to us who have been interested in using CallBuddy for their outbound calls. So to give you an example, like healthcare, smaller healthcare firms that are talking to insurance on the phone every day, they could use CallBuddy to simplify that process and free up some time. So this is the team. Abhinav and Matthew are not here today, but they're my good friends since freshman year. As you can see, we've had experience at a bunch of different tech companies. We're all software engineers, and we're all in the computer science and business honors program. So yeah, that's it. If you're interested, I urge you to scan that QR code. There you can see a demo of the product as well as sign up for the wait list. You're also, I've got our contact info up there, so if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out, or just come chat with us after the event. We'd be happy to talk. Thank you.
What was your previous company name?
Scraps.
Scraps. So if you don't see crawling out there, you can just put it for Scraps and we'll figure it out. If you loaded it after, you might see crawling. I updated the form. We can figure it out.
All right, hey guys, my name is Vi, and I'm the CEO of TouchDrive. So according to the NHTCA, there's a drunk driving accident every 36 minutes in the United States, which equals out to around 13,000 deaths yearly, and these could have all been preventable. With products out on the market today, such as breathalyzers and IIDs, yes, they're well institutionalized, but they're not necessarily accessible nor efficient. So right now, current breathalyzers are around 70% accurate, and you can have a falsified positive or negative due to GERDs, diabetes, or even a common cold. And with that, insurance, they don't necessarily want to incentivize using this product because they're not necessarily mitigating risk with only being 70% accurate. So comparatively with like Southwest Airline, right? They don't necessarily have to use their product, which caused their issue 2 months ago. So there's a lack of accountability in the professional space, and not just aviation, but also trucking, pest control, and even OR rooms. And many companies lose millions from intoxicated employees yearly. JB Hunt loses around $86,000 per lawsuit damage, and that doesn't even consider legal fees, the reputation of the company, and also the employee losing their termination due to their contract. And we're here today to solve that. With TouchDrive, what we're doing is creating a dual sensor system that detects driver's blood alcohol levels totally non-invasive with the use of retina sensing and also fingerprint sensing. Right now, we have this product, and it can be externally applicable to all types of vehicles and also OR rooms and also aviation. And right now, we're solely focused on, depends on use case scenarios. So if I worked with ABC Pest Controls, and if they want to actual product with their fleet management, I would put it on their operating panel of their cars. Or whenever they clock into the work for day-to-day employees, they could use it to to clock in their data, and that data would be sent to the manager, also insurance, to lower their liability risk and also the insurance premiums. So as of right now, our current products is that we raised around $35,000 from an angel investor, and we created a CAD modeling software and also PCB sensors in our biophotonics lab in Boston. So right now, with our PCB sensors and tying it back to our computer system, it's around 86% accurate. And obviously, with our CAD modeling, you can see like how our touch print sensor would probably work, and also you can see our image processing tool to detect your retina sensing, but just for your fingers for now. Our business model is that for our hardware software, we're solely focusing on licensing our product for around $350 per product, but with our software component, it would be around $10 per software device. And that data would be sent automatically to employers and also insurance when it comes to play. Our traction, as of right now, we have one signed LOI from Seguro Amiga, which is like an insurance company for underrepresented citizens. And we also receive great interest from Chevron when it comes to using it for their oil and gas employees that work particularly with like the oil. And also Samsara for their telematics space. Aircare One's a medical tech airline based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico for their people that are working around the cockpit and also pilots. And also DEF CON, we have a talk with them in a few weeks related to the munitions department. Our ask right now is that we're trying to raise around $250K for around 10%, and all of that money will go into R&D to create our final MVP, and also do more testing when it comes to THC sensing, because that's notable with our proprietary science that we're doing. And also, we're trying to file for five patents with the money we raise. Our team is that, yes, I'm the CEO of the company. I'm a second-year majoring in economics. My CTO is Professor Kamrani. He is a former adjunct professor and the former director of the Harvard and MIT labs. And my two friends here is the CSO and CTO. Shrey is a CS major over here at UT, and Armand's a chemical engineering student at Johns Hopkins. So thank you.
Test. Can I make this full screen? Okay. I want to start by asking a question. Who here knows somebody affected by cancer? Great, so like everybody in this room. I unfortunately do too. This is my grandfather. He was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer in 2017. And you know, a battle with cancer is super tough inside the hospital. But what I found super concerning was my family, which is comprised of about 28 physicians, couldn't get him the help he needed outside of the hospital. In fact, this is not just a problem for my grandfather. This is a problem for a lot of people who have cancer. Finding the resources outside of the hospital, it becomes a challenge. And a lot of the time, these people, they go to places like a Google without even knowing what to put into the search bar. And so they feel alone in this process. Hospitals actually employ something called patient health navigators to help with this problem. These are former cancer patients who try to outsource these resources to patients. However, these people are often overworked or overdone, oftentimes serving hundreds of patients at a time. And so they don't get personalized healthcare services that they need, which is why we created Panacea, which is a personalized AI patient health navigator for cancer patients. So what Panacea does, we get our input from two different sources, the EHR data and an LLM that we are currently training. So what happens is a patient will talk to an AI agent saying, hey, I have XYZ symptoms, help me find resources. We pull from their EHR data to also help with this, and we can personalize recommendations to them that we have from a bank of resources from our partners. We also collect PROs, which are used in hospital systems to help reimburse doctors, which is on the next slide. So by now, hospitals are switching towards more of a value-based care system. So a few years ago, if you went into a hospital, you would get charged for everything you touch, everything you eat, everything you drink. Now, hospitals are charging you based on how well you do outside the hospital and reimbursing the doctors effectively as they see fit. So our app will be able to take these PROs, which will help the hospitals decide how much to reimburse their doctors. Our business model, Panacea, is free for all patients. It'll be paid for upfront by hospital systems and insurance partners. We believe that hospital systems will be able and willing to pay for it because they need access to PROs. Our market, 13 million people currently live with cancer. We estimate that Panacea will cost around $200 per patient, which is about a $2.6 billion ARR. And our traction, we currently have our MVP out with the Breast Cancer Resource Center, where we have 30 patients. Our ask is if you guys know anybody in the healthcare system that we can expand to, that would be amazing. And so our go-to-market. So our next big thing is to reach out to hospital systems and try to build a white label product for these hospital systems, so we can pilot our app even further in a broader range of patients. Shout out our team, shout out the mentors, they're all awesome. Our team works really hard, so awesome. So yeah, this is Panacea. We're giving all patients a personalized healthcare navigator through AI.
Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Harshit Sadhu, and I'm a co-founder here at Internest, a platform that helps interns find relocation and housing. So I have a quick question for you guys. What percentage of interns do you think renege on their offers every summer? 7%? No, not 7%. Not 10%. It's actually 24%. So I want to ask a follow-up question. Why do you think so many interns renege?
Is it because they want to focus on their startup, maybe?
That's the ideal case, but not all startups succeed. Okay, so the main reason is actually broken up into two things. 62% of interns aren't able to find reliable roommates in a new city. 57% aren't able to find affordable housing, which ultimately leaves 24% to renege. And I faced the same issue last summer. So I'd applied to over 300 internships, and I finally got the words that I was looking for. Congratulations, you have received an offer to intern this summer. And immediately I hopped on LinkedIn. I was ready to draft up my post, and I wanted to say that I'm very excited that this year I will be last summer I was interning at Apple, Bees, as a software engineering intern out in Cupertino, California. And immediately once I started to kind of get closer to the start date, I realized that I didn't have a place to stay. And I didn't want to add to California's ever-growing homeless population. So I started to scour different websites such as Zillow, Realtor.com. And to be honest, a lot of the places weren't as appealing and looked sketchier than the places my parents lived back in India. So basically, I ended up finding a place that barely fit my budget. But the issue was even just to onboard, I had to give out personal details such as my social security number, all 20 digital copies of my fingerprints, finally to get the, finally to secure housing for the summer. But as soon as I moved in, I was greeted by many, okay. I was greeted by a stack of Redbox DVDs, and I soon realized that my roommate was a 57-year-old. Okay, I'm sorry, this picture caught me off guard. This wasn't in the slides before just now. Okay, so I realized that my roommate was a 57-year-old who only worked night shifts, and while he was worrying about things such as pension and retirement, I was still trying to figure out whether I should trust a popcorn button on a microwave. So, obviously, I didn't get to spend the summer in California enjoying the nice breeze, and rather, I felt isolated. And that's what kind of inspired me to create Internest. After talking to multiple interns from Fidelity, Disney, State Farm, I realized that everyone had different versions of the same story. And now, with our team, we developed Internest, a platform by interns for interns. And now this summer, things are a little different. I'm excited to announce that I'll be interning at Texas Roadhouse, as a software engineering intern out in Cupertino, California. But this time, all I had to do was hop on internest.net, internest.net, and it asked me to create a roommate profile. And it asked me things such as my dietary preferences, what I was looking for in a roommate, if I needed a roommate with a car so we can carpool to the office. And I was basically greeted to thousands of different interns all over the city, and I was even given a match percentage. Kind of like Tinder, but this time it actually works. And for my housing, all I had to do was hop onto the housing finder, and I had to just put in the office address, and immediately I was listed to a bunch of different providers, housing providers from Expedia, Vrbo, and Airbnb. And kind of the way that our business model works is we actually get 2 to 4% commission on every booking made through our platform. So essentially, like if 4 interns were to come together and make a $10,000 buy for the summer, right? We would get 2 to 4% of that commission. And basically at scale, this business model scales to multi-billion dollars. So now, this summer, I can focus on prioritizing the things that matter the most, personal connections and professional growth. Because at Internest, we don't only help you find housing, but we help you secure a home. And now, if each and every single one of you guys looks at the bottom of your chair right now, you'll be able to see the bottom of your chair. But if you scan the QR code up on the slide, you'll be able to check out Internest. And remember, we don't only help find housing, but we help you find the perfect home. Thank you.
Thank you. After Young Brothers, it's going to be Ducky.
Could you show me something quick? By any chance? I don't know if you can connect with this. To be honest with you. Is it actually mine? Hold on, let me try on the other side. Thank you. So, having over 380 million monthly active users, Roblox, which is like a YouTube for game creators where they can come and make money from their games, is not only the world's largest, but fastest growing game platform in the world. But what if I told you that despite having over 8 million developers on the platform, that less than 1% of these developers are actually making any money at all? Not because they lack the technical skills to make great games or their games aren't fun,
but simply because they lack several key business fundamentals needed to launch a successful game, with the number one prevailing issue being marketing, or in simple terms, when you launch your game, getting players to play and spend money in your game. And we ran into this issue the hard way when we started our own studio, launching over 12 games in under 2 years, with the majority of them flopping simply because we didn't know how to market on this new platform that nobody has ever seen and that nobody has ever played before, with an audience that nobody has ever seen before in games currently. And thankfully, we were able to get over this wall and launch numerous successful projects on the platform with our knowledge that we got from Roblox and getting successful projects. But multiple developers, or 99% of developers actually, aren't making money from their games at all, and they keep on running into this hump, and they're looking for help, but they can't find anybody to give them help, give them any content, or give them any investments because they're pre-launch, so they don't have any metrics or KPIs that they can go back on. So that's why what we do is we help these developers by, one, offering funding in exchange for revenue share and equity in their game off launch. Two, we solve the number one most prevailing issue in these developers by giving them access to our ecosystem of top influencers with millions of followers. And three, we help these developers sustain their game through methods like live ops and sustainability tactics like brand partnerships. And how we make money is extremely simple, is through two ways. Much like an accelerator, we make money when these games exit, or unlike an accelerator, we make money when their games make money and we get revenue share. And that goes into Jacob, who was actually our first person that we ever partnership with on a game project, who had a game, who launched his game, and it flopped due to him not knowing how to market correctly, and also him not knowing or having the funding to completely finish his game off. And him coming to us, the funny thing about Jacob actually is that Jacob actually reached out to accelerators beforehand, but got denied from all of them because he didn't launch his game and his game didn't have post-launch KPI. And after relaunching with Jacob and providing him and boosting his marketing with our knowledge on the platform's algorithm as well as funding, Jacob's game became one of the top fighting games on the platform and quickly sold to a larger studio for over $500,000 in under 2 months of time. Jacob, using the money, was able to pay for college off completely and was able to achieve his dream of being a full-time game developer. And for us, we made over 50 times how much we invested in under 2 months. To date, our traction is we have over $250,000 generated from these game portfolio projects with profit margins from 60 to 80% depending on the game. And with your help these developers turn their game projects into thriving businesses. Thank you. And my ask is, if you have any connections in the game development market, one big issue that we want to solve for these people is de-risk the whole entire Roblox ecosystem because they still see it as a risky business. Thank you.
Test. All right, hey guys, I'm Justin. I'm working on Ducky, an AI tutor. So currently, students learn in the worst way possible. Let's start with lectures. There's 4 reasons why classes really suck right now for students. The first reason is lectures are 90 minutes long. They usually involve a lot of reading and a lot of listening. There's not a lot of engagement for students. And so for students, it's almost as if there's not a lot of engagement and they're watching this long and difficult podcast that they can't really pause or go back. For teachers are not perfect. They can't tailor their learning style for a class of 300 students. They can only teach it in one way. Students usually have an average attention span of around 10 minutes, and classes are around 90 minutes. So that means that, if you're distracted or you're off topic, it's really hard for you to basically get on track. And then the last point, the cherry on top, is that classes basically compound and they build off of one another as you move along the semester. So because of all these reasons, we actually forget up to 95% of what we learned in lecture. But let's say you're superhuman and none of these actually apply to you. Let's say you understand all of lecture. You'll probably actually still forget almost 85% of what you learned. So this is the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. It is basically a curve that shows you when you will forget what you've learned. And so you can see after basically just one day of learning, you'll forget almost 75% of what you've learned. And over time, it just decreases. And so what do students currently do? How do they tackle this problem? The days before an exam, we'll spend all day, all night, basically relearning, cramming, or force memorizing all the material just to take this test, and then after the test, we'll forget almost everything again. Right after your class, as many of you can have experienced, after classes, you forget almost everything. And so every year, you learn just to forget, and the cycle repeats. For teachers, this is a huge problem because they can't see where students commonly struggle until they see exam grades. It's very reactive, and this metric is slowly becoming outdated because of AI. They see AI as a threat in the classrooms, and sometimes they even, they can't really put the emphasis on learning, and students focus more on getting the numbers instead of learning the material. Okay, so what do we do? What is Ducky? Ducky is an AI tutor. So the best way to learn something is by teaching someone else, and Ducky is an AI tutor where students can learn better by teaching Ducky. Ducky's adaptive, so over time it learns how you learn, and from your explanations, we can do a lot. Professors can now see exactly how you learn topics, where you struggle, where you excel, and how you learned it, and other students can also learn from your explanations. So we can basically leverage your explanations when you teach. So a really quick analogy I like to give is, imagine after class, you have 10 minutes with your professor. In that 10 minutes, you just explain everything you've learned from class, and your professor will fill in the gaps of where you struggle, and it'll also take notes on your explanations. After the 10 minutes, it'll provide you these notes, and it'll also basically learn from where you struggle, so in the future, it can tackle these problems. Over time, Ducky also tracks topics you've learned, exactly how you learned it, and we store it into a database, and I kind of want to show you what that looks like. So database, day one. So this is basically what you've learned on day one. The circles you see are topics you've learned, and the lines between them are relationships on how these topics are related. We're basically trying to create a second brain, but instead of neurons, we're basically trying to create topics you've mastered, explained in your own words. So when you click these circles, or these topics, it'll basically be your explanations, your thought process, and basically everything in your own words on what these topics are. This is day one. Day 100, it becomes this huge database, basically after a semester, it becomes this huge database of everything you've learned in that class, or multiple classes, their relationships to one another, and basically how you learned each topic. It becomes a searchable and filterable database that you can search through. Okay, so how do we make money? What is our target customer? So we've learned that, honestly, students who use Ducky the best are ones taking concept-based classes or are in concept-based majors. It's a lot easier to explain concepts or it's a lot easier to do the actual integral or do the derivative rather than explain it. So math majors and application-based majors like, a hardware engineer, it's a lot harder for them to use Ducky. So concept-based classes like neuroscience, psychology, and even economics are our best target customers. We're tackling college and high school students for our market, and how it works is your first 4 weeks are free, and then we charge $8 a month. We also want to target classes because once you are able to have a deal with the class, every student uses it, and it's a lot easier for students to be onboarded when there's a class already designated with Ducky. And so yeah, so this is the dream team. I'm Justin. We have Horace working on systems architecture, and Brandon, who's not here today, he's working on AI/ML. And yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Hello, test. Okay. Awesome. Hey everyone, I'm Noor. I am the co-founder and CTO of Phenopsys, the first AI native virtual data room. So a couple of months ago, we met with Jonah, and Jonah is an investment banker at Peakstone Capital, and he described to us what were 100 to 120 hour work weeks, in which he spent 80 to 90% of his time buried inside of virtual data rooms. And some of you guys might be asking, what is a virtual data room? A virtual data room is basically a secure platform that allows people to store confidential documents about billion-dollar businesses to make sure that analysts can get a secure copy of their financial records. So as we continue to talk to Jonah, we learned a lot about some of the problems he faces with current providers. So today, a lot of the virtual data rooms are basically bland document storage platforms. They give you little power to search and be able to actually get the insights you need about the data inside of a data room. So this can lead to a lot of inefficiencies and making it a lot slower for them to actually get deals done, which could be a lot of missed opportunities for investment bank where they could have taken on a lot more deals and potentially made more money. And furthermore, for things like PE firms, an inaccurate assessment of a company or missing certain metrics can cost them millions of dollars. So that's where Phenopsys comes in. Jonah wishes he had Phenopsys to be able to search and find insights in seconds rather than hours. Things like finding specific information no longer requires you to go through all the documents when you could just search for a single item. And our AI is able to index and understand all of these documents, including all charts and graphs, much quicker and much more accurately than an analyst who might be overworked and sleep deprived. And some of the key features that we built out based on user input was auto tagging. When a document's uploaded, you can get a quick understanding of the document in seconds without even having to open that document. Furthermore, we added an advanced query which allows you to find information across many documents and even provide sources so that investment bankers can be certain that their data is accurate. And finally, if you want to visualize your data, you can pull data from different documents to create charts about any metric that you want. And there's not just Jonah. There are millions of others just like him in PE, in VC, in investment banking, and even smaller financial firms who are all looking for the ability to quickly understand and accurately understand financial information. So our business model is to have the base package of the AI data rooms at $700 a month, which is very similar to the pricing of many data rooms currently on the market. And we provide a scalable pricing, which allows you to do query usages, so 5 cents per query. And the profit margins for this is expected to be in the 90 to 95% range. And some of the traction we've had is with US dermatology partners and Austin Growth Capital, who are helping us build and iterate this product every week. And we're also talking to 5 firms who are also interested in adopting our product. We've continuously built this product from consistent user feedback from almost 80 different professionals. And we were also featured on Meta's newsroom. And this is my awesome team. Will is over there and Eon's over there. And yeah, that's Phenopsys, the first AI native virtual data room. Our ask is if you have anyone who works in the VC, PE, or anyone who might be dealing with data rooms, it would be awesome to talk to them. Thank you.
Sorry, still loading. Oh, here we go. All right. Hi everyone, I'm Ivy, the founder of Spiceable. Have you ever wanted to recreate a dish that you love only to find out that you're missing half of the spices? Spiceable creates pre-portioned all-in-one spice cards to make global flavors accessible at your home kitchen. I'm an international student from China. Growing up, my mom has always cooked for our family 7 days a week. It was her love language, and it was our family's love language. But after I moved to the US when I was 14, alone, I missed those familiar flavors. When my host family asked me to create an authentic Chinese meal, I was so excited to share part of my piece of my home. But when I started planning, I realized they had none of the seasonings that I needed: Sichuan peppercorn, star anise, etc. And what should have been a quick trip to the grocery store turned into a scavenger hunt. And by checkout, our cart was filled with spices that they'd probably never use. And that's when it hit me. There are so many people who want to explore global flavors and cook authentic dishes, but the process can be overwhelming, expensive, and wasteful. And that's why I created Spiceable, to bring global flavors to your fingertips with pre-portioned, all-in-one spice cards. No mess, no stress. So every single spices that you need for the one dish are all pre-portioned and packed into blister bubbles that can be popped out into your pot. No hassle, no waste. Just the perfect blend with the right amount. And with a variety of global cuisine, every card comes with a recipe card as well, guiding you through exactly what to do with what ingredients. So whether you're making a quick weeknight meal or hosting a dinner with friends and families, Spiceable makes it easy and accessible. And last time I visited my host family, this is all I brought. And I was able to make an authentic Chinese Sichuan stir fry. And it was such a meaningful experience to share some of my favorite dishes with them. And so far, we had incredible early tractions. We sold out at TEDx UT Austin Startup Showcase and South by Southwest Startup Crawl. We sold over 80 products so far, and we had amazing interactions and enthusiasm from the customers. And we also are building a wait list of over 100 eager customers who are waiting for our product launch. There's also substantial market opportunity for Spiceable. So the global ethnic food market is projected to reach $153 billion by year 2032, and this is because more consumers are open to explore authentic international flavors. And on the other hand, the meal kit market is projected to reach $64 billion in year 2030, and this is driven by the demand for convenience without sacrificing quality. And Spiceable positions right in the intersection between these two booming markets. And additionally, different from meal kits, Spiceable adds this extra layer of cultural authenticity, and it also provides customers more flexibility with ingredient pairing. So customers want authentic international flavors and hassle-free solution, and Spiceable delivers both in a way that's easy and high quality. So with great early traction and market potential, we want to focus on a multi-channel go-to-market strategy. First, we want to reach to farmers market. It's the perfect place to showcase Spiceable because people are already looking for fresh, high-quality food products. At the same time, we're also building a strong online presence. We're constantly posting on our social media, and we're building a blog on our website to showcase cooking tips, spice pairings, and recipes to further drive brand awareness and e-commerce sales. And right now, we need funding the most to improve our packaging and scale production. And in the next 12 or 18 months, we want to explore and scale into retail partnership and specialty grocery stores. And long term, we envision Spiceable to be the go-to solution for home cooks and food lovers. By integrating into subscription services and international markets, we want to make global flavors accessible for everyone at home. This is just the beginning. We're not just selling spices, we're redefining how people experience global flavors at home. So make home cooking tastier, easier, and healthier for yourself and your loved ones. And feel free to scan the QR code to join our waitlist as well. Thank you.
Hi. Not working? There we go. Hi, my name is Bursan Bashalu, and I'm the co-founder of Clipstack. By a show of hands, how many of you have you heard of the Minecraft movie? Quite a lot of you. This is called a super trend, and creators are rushing to make content about these trends before the hype dies down. But unfortunately, many of these creators make content too late or rush and lack quality because of their inconsistencies. So, let's explore creating one of these contents together. So let's say I'm a YouTuber, and I'm recording some video, and I record 100 gigabytes of data. I would upload it into some kind of storage platform like Google Drive. Then my editors would spend hundreds of hours downloading these clips onto their computer. And afterwards, they would put in a program like Premiere Pro to edit and render the program. And again, this takes hours. And finally, after they're done rendering it, they have to upload it back to a storage system, which takes hours. Now, let's explore the same solution using Clipstack. By clicking on a video, you can upload the media and your raw footage. Then your editors gain access to a virtual machine where they can edit directly onto the cloud. There's no need for excessive downloads, and they could download their preferred editing software on the cloud. And they could render the video using high-performance GPUs straight on the cloud, again cutting out hours of waiting time. And from there, when they're all done, they can upload straight from Clipstack to YouTube. So now that we've talked about what we're building, let's explore how we make this possible. We charge creators on 2 metrics: per user and how many users are using the product. And we have different tiers, higher tiers for more and larger the creators. And you gain access to AI and enhanced collaboration features. As well, based on usage, more rendering and more storage will cost more money, and Clipstack will scale as you grow. And to make this possible, we are powered by AWS, and we use servers for hosting, and these are our main expenses. And we're targeting creators with larger audience, especially the ones with medium to large creator teams, as well networks with many creators in their network. So our current traction, we're in talks with 3 different customers with varying sizes, one with a small, medium, and large following, and their organizations have between 2 and 150 members in their organization. Collectively, they have about 10 million subscribers and have 6 billion views across different platforms. So talking about our total market, the total addressable market for all of content creator tools is approximately $37 billion a year with 50 million creators involved. But the ones that fit our target market is about $3.6 billion a year with about 5 million creators we could reach. But our goal within the next few years is to reach to 5,000 creators and generate around 3.6 million a year. So my ask for you today, if you are a creator or you know someone who's a creator, please take a picture or scan this QR code and send them to the creator and fill out the form so we can contact you to use Clipstack. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Avis. I'm the co-founder at GameTricks, where we're looking to make analytics for esports accessible and simple. And so to preface this, Ever since I was a kid, I've always played video games. And at some point, I got pretty good. But I can't say the same about my co-founder. And one night in particular was really bad. It got to the point where I was begging him to get off of the game. And so it was 3 a.m. and I realized that there was a professional game actually happening in Korea that we could just watch readily accessibly. And so we sat there and we watched a Korean Valorant game, and I broke down every single play for him. Every single play, down to the minuscule details like location, why certain decisions are being made. And at some point, a month later, fast forward, he became from a bottom of the barrel player, bottom 50% player, to a top 20% player. And so this got me thinking, how could we replicate this? As a computer scientist, I was thinking, okay, let's see, what is the nature of esports? Esports is played virtually. And so given that nature, we're able to acquire really interesting statistics like telemetry data, locational data. Like imagine you could find out the exact speed of LeBron's stride on a specific area of the court when he's rolling down the court, going for a slam dunk. Imagine you could find his direct coordinates as well as his direct telemetry data like speed and how fast he stopped, things like that. But with esports, we can. And given that, we're able to create really interesting statistics. And so we noticed with that there was a lot of untapped potential in data within esports. And a lot of sites that are currently aggregating this data aren't really utilizing it to its full potential. And so that leads to the next thing. When acquiring clients, I realized that certain organizations didn't have the resources to have these in-house staff, whether it be data engineers, data scientists, and analysts. A lot of them were burning hundreds of thousands of dollars and only spending like $30,000 only on their staff. And so that leads to the lack of accessible analytics, where any of these organizations, whether you're a professional player or you're a team trying to get into the next level, you're not really able to utilize this data to its full potential. And that's where Gametrix comes in. With Gametrix, we want to unlock this data for you using AI, ML, to provide actionable insights and actionable items for players and coaches. And so we collect this data, we analyze it, and we present the data and analytics in a digestible manner using AI. And so we're able to pinpoint underperforming players as well as capitalize on those players' strengths. And so how do we make money? So we're planning on using a subscription model for our monthly access for esports organizations. So an organization would come up to us and say, hey, we want to try out Gametrix, and we provide them a subscription fee for monthly access. And we'd also develop a NetSuite business model where an organization could be like, hey, I want a specific widget on my dashboard. And then we'd be like, here is how many billable hours, and that's how we would build them on enterprise solutions. And this is all powered by our strategic partners with Microsoft Azure, providing us AI data credits, as well as Grid.gg, that's providing us free data, free live data, as well as extremely granular data for esports for our initial development phase. And so what gives us our edge? So given that I'm a top 1% player in certain competitive titles, we have really unique insights within our models. Compared to a PhD or a industry leader of 10 years, we could iterate on our models extremely fast. And so Gametrix, compared to these other sites that are tens of years old, we provide a unique and sleek and modern UI, as well as AI-driven insights, so you can get a competitive advantage. And so for our sales and outreach, we're currently talking to Talon Esports. They're a tier 1 organization, meaning they're franchised, and so all their players are salaried hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're subsidized by the game developer themselves. And in tier 2 is the circuit where these organizations, you can think about this as like the NFL and then the UFL, and then you have the collegiate level. And so in esports UFL, they compete in a circuit to get to the next level, to get those salaries, and to get subsidized by the developers. And so we're currently focusing on the tier 2 region where they are spread so thin that they're burning $80,000 on salaries, and they have nothing left over to expand their teams, whether it be scouting or data analytics. And so we've also reached out to our own teams at UT, where we're helping them compete in our college circuit. So here's the teams. So I'm Avis, and then that's my co-founder, Harrison. And so we're a two-man team getting this done. And so my ask is, if you're interested in esports or you're interested in creating your own team and building and trying to go to the next level or increasing your own game, go to gametricks.gg and join our waitlist. Thank you.
Zach, I think, is next. Is anybody else left? Just to make sure. I think that's the last. You're the last one.
Cool. Hi, everyone. My name is Zach, co-founder of Build. There are over 500,000 professional CAD users globally. These are people who use CAD every day for most of their day. People like my co-founder, Rambod. He worked at Apple as a product design engineer. And for him, one of his biggest pain points, which if you talk to most engineers, it's always documentation. And when we talk to more engineers within more highly regulated industries, we realize that this number jumps up to 50% because they have to comply with regulatory bodies like the FDA. In their world, if something wasn't documented, then it just didn't happen. And this is a big problem for like a medical device company. If they make a mistake and try to push it out, this can result in 6 to 12 months in delays with the FDA because they're very slow. And if even worse, if it does get approved, then if you go back and there's a casualty, this can result in jail time. So it's definitely not a problem you want to be in. So how do they go about solving this right now? Well, currently, let's take Chris, one of our current design partners at Orthopediatrics. For him, he spent his entire life learning how to CAD, and he's really good at it. What he's not good at is documentation, and he also hates it. So how does he go about solving this issue of documentation? Well, he sort of has to act like a funnel for information. He has to talk to his engineering team and read thousands of pages of engineering documentation. He has to comply with regulatory bodies and kind of understand what FDA needs at a given time. And these trends change. So a lot of companies actually have to hire out regulatory affairs consultants, which cost millions on its own. And eventually, after he compiles all of his data and reads through thousands of documents with FDA, he eventually tries to make a good attempt to comply with FDA and make a submission that may or may not get approved. So where does Build come in? Build is an AI platform that sits on top of the engineer's workflow, and it has a full understanding of every part of their workflow that they use to inform their documentation process. So it can read all your engineering documentation. It can read all the thousands of pages of standards that the FDA releases, and also track their trends over time. And then Build can work with someone like Chris to kind of co-develop, and build out this documentation in a fraction of the time. And yeah, Chris is just one of many engineers who is in our target market. There are 27K medical device users who would be a close target market for us. But this is just the beginning, because medical devices is one of many regulated industries within the US alone. And the total US regulated industry market would account for $2.7 billion. And this can easily be extrapolated for other industries that may not be as regulated. And yeah, we're also the team to solve this. We're a team of hardware and software engineers from Apple, Pinterest, and Tesla. So we have that experience, and we're really excited to solve documentation finally. And yeah, we also just completed a pre-seed round with Techstars, and we have runway for around 12 months. We have 3 design partners that we're currently working with and actively iterating with for our MVP. And we also do a lot of customer discovery. That's kind of the main thing we do throughout the week. We talk to around 50 to 20 engineers. Even this past week, we talked to 20 plus engineers, and a good percentage of them express interest. And yeah, that's it for me. Please, I don't know why it's not showing. There's a QR code, maybe. Well, if you just go to build-engineering.io, that's our website. If you want to look at our demo, please give us feedback on like what you think and whether or not it would be useful. But that's it for us. Thank you. Oh, there, here it is.
You can also send it in the group chat.
Okay, I'll send it in the group chat too.
Send it in the group chat. If you guys have
Awesome. All right, that is everybody. Did we miss anybody? Okay. How many people are enrolled in the class but did not get to pitch today? Raise your hand. There's not that many, right? Like a handful. Okay, so we'd like you to submit your video pitches, and we'll grade those as well. But that way, it's long to sit through a lot of pitches, and so that's why we do one per team. And if anyone who's not enrolled would like to do a pitch and submit it, you're welcome to do that as well. And we'll still give you feedback. That was really good. I was impressed with the slides. That was the first time you had to do slides, and I thought the slides were generally pretty good and really pretty clear and easy to read. There were all kinds of slides. Some were very like designed and really pretty and had graphics, and like those were great. And there were some that were very simple and were still very good. They were just really, there were some were just very clear and very easy to read. It didn't need a lot of graphics. It was just really clear. So lots of good stuff there. I think probably my biggest piece of feedback for next time, surprise, surprise, more story. It's harder to do the story in a longer pitch, but I felt like some of them I thought was expecting from before you to have a little bit more story, and it a little bit dropped out. And I still think it really helps. And again, just kind of just imagine, because this gives me a situation you're going to be in a lot, right? Like we just had to watch. We just watched 10 pitches or 11 pitches, right? And we're really interested in all of them. It's still long. It's a lot to watch, right? And guess what? Whenever you're having a meeting, they had 4 meetings before yours. They got 4 meetings after yours. This is life, right? You gotta get people's attention and pull them in and and that matters a lot. So even more so, in something like that. So I'd encourage you to continue to think about that and to practice that or ask for feedback on that. And a great way to get feedback is to send around videos of the pitches because you can record it once and then send it to a whole bunch of people and just ask them to leave comments, and you can get lots of great feedback that way. But really, again, so overall, really great job. I know it's stressful and it's hard, especially it's a little easier for the teams that only have one person because you know who's going to pitch. But I appreciate everyone, particularly on the teams that wasn't like that. It's but that's also again, it's like a little bit of real life, and everybody did great. And that's part of the point is having everybody be ready to talk about it. So I was really impressed with everyone. All right, so we have again 2 more weeks of mentor sessions coming up. We have the last 2. Then we have 1 more pitch. Then we have demo day. Think about what do you want to get done before the end of the semester? What do you want to be able to say or show at demo day? What do you want to be able to say to your mentors, to the other people here? And start thinking about what happens after this. Is this something you keep working on and how and what's that look like or what do you need? Those are all good things to think about too. Do you want to? Everyone is encouraged and welcome to apply for the $25,000 investment prize. It's just not by default because it doesn't always make sense for everybody. Some people, usually usually probably close to somewhere around half are either that doesn't make sense for me right now, or I'm not going to be I might not be pursuing this, or some other thing like that, or I don't, we don't want to raise money, or whatever. So there's reasons why you might not, but I really certainly encourage you to, and so this is a good time to start thinking about that too. Any questions or anything else?
Is the pitch before demo day, is that random, or do we get to choose?
It's just like today, but demo day when you're in front of it, in front of the stage, you get to pitch. You get to pick who goes.
Is it possible that the same person that pitched today will pitch on the day before?
Sure. It's just random. That's the intent. It's we're trying to make it random. Yeah, it's literally she's spin the wheel. Its name comes up. That's what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to make it random. Yes, it's an action. So it's not investment gift or it's actual investment. And so we can we'll just send out some more info on that shortly so that you have more time to think about it. But it's meant to be very easy, and it's meant to be basically like a very standard $25,000 on a safe or convertible note, like something that's that we don't have to like negotiate or like think about much. And so, and then we kind of have standard terms, like if you haven't raised money before, there's kind of a pretty obvious starting point usually. And if for some, if you've already raised money from somebody else or something like that, then we would usually use their valuation. I mean, I wouldn't say it like that. Like life doesn't work that way, but like it'd be really disappointing because basically you're keeping somebody else from getting it, and so yeah. I mean, I think I will say it. We've been doing this for a long time. Like there's been once or twice where just like sometimes like literally like everything was going great and then the company blew up a month later, like before we could close the investment. Like it just happens sometimes. Like and it didn't work out. But I think about it more that way. Just like just be fair to other people that might really want it. Demo day is on a Monday, not a Tuesday, and it's about. You should have a calendar invite with the date, but it's about this. It's about the same time. It's just I think it's like 3 hours instead of 2 hours. That's okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. If I don't know I'm sorry because I should have sent better expectations about it. So if for some reason that's gonna be a big problem for you, then let us know. But ideally, it'd be great if you could do it tonight. Yeah. Both the pitches are intended to be about 4 minutes. And that comes from a bunch of different things. One, we've just standardized on that generally here at Capital Factory because like it's much easier for you if you only have to have one pitch format. It's always 4 minutes. And that's kind of like everything here. But also I find personally just like attention spans and things like that. Like believe it or not, like a 10-minute pitch is really long. Like you're getting into some really significant details about like other stuff, or people are falling asleep. And so less than that, I think it's going to be hard to get across the required things you need to get across about just explaining what it is and what the business model is and some other things like that. And so I'd say like, you're not going to get penalized for going over 4 minutes. I think over 5 minutes, it's going to start to be long, and it's probably too long.
So I know you mentioned that for the pitch that you saw today, there's like some slides that are pretty good, some that were more basic. I guess from your experience, like, is there a preference for like the pitch?
Totally a style thing. Like, as I remember, yours was one of the more basic ones. But it was like, that was, I think, one of the things I was thinking of. Like, it was like, it was super clear. It was just like, so. No, it's just a style thing. Like if you do that, they're going to be looking at you. Right, more. Right? Like if you do something over there, they're going to be looking over there more. Like it's just style, right? Some people and other people are going to perceive that different ways. Like I can tell you what I think about when I see that, but I think something different. She might think something different, right? And so, some people are going to be more impressed by that or think something. But I think there's a very big difference between a crappy slide and a simple slide. I don't think you had a crappy slide. You had a simple slide. You know what I mean? Like, and it was that actually made it very clear. It was very clear and simple. And simple's good. Simple's not bad. Simple's good, right? That's definitely good. If you can have a really beautiful simple slide, that's probably even better, right? But I'd rather have a simple slide than a that's good than a beautiful slide that doesn't actually say the right thing, or convey the right point. Yep. They better show a game. I totally agree. Or like yours, what if yours looked like somebody writing their notes? You know what I mean? Like you could take like the same thing, just make it like handwriting and put it on lined paper, right? And like for you, that totally works. It's like, it's my notes, right? Like, but for like Spiceable, like I want to see the Spiceable stuff, right? Like, it's just, like, and her things, that's a consumer branding thing. Like if you're going to sell those, you better be able to make it look nice, right? Like, put a great question, and so this is the way to get an animation, and this is just from doing a lot of these of like how to make it work really reliably. And so it's basically instead of doing an animation, you do a short video slide basically that can look like an animation. And so think of it, and like I said, I've said before, it doesn't change the total length of your pitch, and I would recommend very short videos, like even 15 seconds is like a great video. 30 seconds I think is about the longest you'd want to go, and that's getting kind of long where they're watching the video, not listening to you. But also it might be something that's happening while you're talking, right? That's just demonstrating something. And so in which case it's totally different. And so you just think of it like have a placeholder slide and say, insert video here. Hopefully there's not like 10 videos, so it's not like that confusing, but you might have one or two, but like, so you just say, and then you attach the video with it. And when we're assembling, this is part of why we have to get things early to be able to do this, is when we're assembling the deck, we will put the video in there and set it to autoplay so that when you hit advance, you see this, it comes up and plays. Great question. I'd say, first of all, it's just always a spectrum, so like you might not be able to, but there still could be a lot more of explaining the problem and the solution with a story. And then you might say, let me tell you how well it's working or whatever, and jump out of the story. But then the best situations you work it into the story, and like it's like it's almost like name dropping. You're like, and then I signed up, and you know what? Like I for Internest, right? I logged onto the page and I saw that, holy crap, there actually are like 1,000 other UT kids already on this platform waiting for me. And then when I went and I looked at who had I was looking in California, in Cupertino, and there were already 4,000 other kids from all over the country coming there in this app when I got there. And like, what I'm saying? Like you just work it into the story where that's part of the story and what made it so made the app so good. Now, was that gonna work for everything? I don't know, and again, it's really hard. I have a lot of practice. It's still hard for me, but I do think this is it's next level. Like it goes from and just think of what it was just like today. It's just no matter how hard you try, I'm trying and I care about all this stuff. And it's long for me to watch all these pitches, and just the more that, to me, and again, people might have different opinions, but for me, this is the thing that makes it way less long. It makes it way more like I'm watching a movie. Because that's the way our brains work. When you start getting lectured to, you start turning off. Right? But when you're watching a movie or someone's telling you a story, you actually kind of lean in, right? And you get pulled in and you wake up more. And that's what you're trying to do to them. Right, and I saw that on some of the pitches today, right? Some of the pitches definitely woke people up again, it was and it was just whoop, things are going, and there's so many different ways to do that. That's not one. It's not you have to be really funny or you have to do something else, but you do have to get everyone's attention, right? And keep their attention, right? Or it's not going to work. That is required, right? And so yeah, and the best advice I can give is use a story. That's how I know to do that really effectively and repeatably. Clearly, everybody practiced a lot, which I also noticed and really appreciate, and that totally comes through. Anything else from you?
I'm just gonna put up the attendance QR code. That's all from me too. And yeah, if you can, please submit your videos. Send them to the TA email as soon as possible. Whoever hasn't pitched today.
Alrighty. Thanks, everybody. Good job.
Thank you.
We'll look at the grades. Next week should be pretty easy. I'm sure you guys like 3 speakers an hour. Yeah, I'm trying to prepare. I don't like stuff. It's also good.
Yeah.
Quick reminder, please scan the QR code. I'm about to take it down. And let me know if you need a parking validation. Please take the pizza as well.
equity round, equity round,
Okay, so you don't do discount, then you do a slam. You do slam. You do a okay, so like in the past you used to be able to do a discount. What that was, let's just explain it. Like it's just like let's okay, so you don't need to okay, so do a cap. Do a cap. No, you're good, you're good. Because yeah, that's a lot of information. Yeah, you don't have to do this. So the angel, like the difference is that because they have such a lot more money, they get like $100 million, and they have to increase that capital to start out. So like they are looking for the equity, like I almost want to say they want the equity of like because they need to be able to do what we're doing, the limited partners and investing in the but the CEO like started in the sense that like they didn't want all that complicated BS and just to be able to get money to I highly recommend you use it. So in the sense like the license has like most laws, other things in it that the conversation is a lot more like private, it's more straightforward and with less like less I would just say that unless your price is really going up, obviously like in terms of like when you're thinking about the business and you're thinking about investors and you're thinking about employees, it's really important I would, if I were you, I would say we're raising on the stage bill. Like, think of the cap that you want and the market cap that you're raising on that stage bill. Something like that. We're raising on 3 to 5 million and like a quarter million and and 5 million cap stage. So like something like that. In that sense. And yeah, the next step, yeah, like I would use Carta to do that. I think it's free at the beginning. A capital factory has like a discount code that they give us that is working free. And you can literally just set it up on there. And once you have the angel investors excited and stuff, they can create that. You literally just send Carta and put their email. Carta does every part of it. Carta.com. And it just sends it directly to their email. They get it in their inbox, they click on it, put the route information, go to the email, click send, and money goes to the Carta, and now they get their bank account, all the legal back end, all the paperwork. It's always like negative it, but this game is very down, and then you kind of start having these like all the good things, and they approach back off, and then you can have it done in reaching out to all the needs and things that a lot of people may. But you did incorporate it. Yeah. But the incorporation it would be a company. Oh, yeah. The angle was if you incorporate a lot of people say anywhere you can, like I did Texas. It's like whatever you do, you just file it with the secretary of state or article on incorporation. If you look at like oh, I heard you just yeah, it's easier. Oh, really? No, it can be with like if you ever talk to somebody and it's like the neighborhood area